Okay, so a follower, Hogarth Ross, asked that I go and play some cooking games. So instead of just doing like a play with me type of video, I thought, well, maybe I'll do something different. So I am going to make a video discussing and comparing some of the cooking games that I have. I have quite a few, so if you enjoy this type of content, let me know. I can absolutely do more videos like this, maybe make it a series or something, I don't know. I'm going to do this in parts though. So for today, I'm only going to be talking about Burger Shop 2, Chef, and Cook Serve Delicious 1. Okay, let's get right into it. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Burger Shop 2. And this game is a very simple yet effective time management cooking game. There's a basic story involved with the usual, build your restaurant up from nothing and that whole premise. But something that makes this game different from others is that there's hardly any cooking involved at all, really. The concept is simple. Mostly already cooked food comes out on a conveyor belt in a random order, and it's your job to put the food together to match the customer's incoming orders. There's a daily profit goal to meet for each level, which is pretty typical for cooking games. And then also, as commonly seen in cooking games, customers have a patience meter that will slowly decay over time. If you fail to get their order to them in a timely manner, they will get angry and ultimately lower your overall score. Now, something that makes this really tough is to get a perfect gold star on a level, you must get all orders out before the customer's patient meter goes below 5 stars. So, even a single 4-star customer makes you lose out on that precious gold star. You guys, I can't even begin to tell you how infuriating it is to be on a difficult level and have that one jerk give you 4 stars, causing you to lose out on the entire perfect score. I mean, sure, I could technically move on to the next level as I did well enough to do so, but the completionist in me just won't allow it. So that means trying again and again and again, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But anyway, as you progress, you get to choose new food items to add to your restaurant. Of course, the more there is to manage, the more difficult it becomes to keep up. The difficulty continues to rise with the introduction of varying customer types. The customers each have differing patient decaying speeds as well as their own favorite types of food. Naturally, the first 6 levels are really easy as it's like a tutorial that introduces different concepts like baking the chicken, filling up the fry boxes, filling the soda, stuff like that. Level 9 was the first true challenge for me. It was the first introduction of power-ups. You get to choose between 3 of them, and I went with the Burger Bot, and during the level, I didn't use it, so I got a silver star. But when I tried it again and I used the bot, I was successful and got the gold star. I always tend to struggle with that, with power-ups and cooldowns and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm going to save it because I might need it. But then when I need it, I don't use it because I want to save it in case I need it. So I'm never really good with that kind of thing. Another thing to note is there is a trophy system in the game, and you get awarded trophies after meeting certain requirements. And then each section of the map has morning, lunch, and dinner. So you can get the morning service, the lunch service, and the dinner service that all has different food things. So I found that the breakfast was the easiest to manage. On level 13, you get to choose a second power-up, and I chose to go with the lollipops. And that pretty much raises the patient meter of a customer. So if you got someone that's decaying and you can't get to them and they've already gone down to 4 stars, it's best to feed them a lollipop real quick, get that back up to 5 before you serve them. Because if you serve them and their meal is complete at the 4 stars, that's the stars you get. And then goodbye, gold star. The lollipop is very, very useful on those extremely impatient jerks I mentioned. And yeah, here's looking at you, lady. It's always you. And another customer that I noticed that's a huge pain in the butt is the dog girl. You can give her dog a treat to help slow her super small meter, but if there's none available, then you're screwed. That treat also is just one more thing to have to prioritize, so again, it ups the difficulty. As well as the trophy system, there's also new modes to unlock, which you unlock fairly early in the game. A challenge mode and relax mode. It's fun to see how long you can survive in the challenge mode. It doesn't end until you lose a customer. And their patience meter slowly gets faster and faster, making it more and more difficult. And then alternatively, it's nice to prepare orders as slowly as you'd like with the relax mode. No pressure or fear of failing. I feel like this game is a good one to jump onto, waste a few hours. It definitely tests your multitasking abilities. If you enjoy 100%ing a game, and by this I mean getting all the gold stars on all the levels, this one will definitely push you and you will get a lot of hours out of it. It's priced at $6.99 at the time of this, and it's only 42 megs of space, so it's definitely easily worth the purchase if you enjoy time management gameplay. Going in the opposite direction as far as simplicity is concerned, Theyre Chef. This game is more of a restaurant management sim than a cooking game. There are familiar elements involved from tycoon games, but honestly, it seems to be lacking in that area, even though that's what it's trying to be. So there's a story mode, which you jump right into an already established yet failing restaurant where you're tasked with making them profitable again. This mode sort of just throws you into the fray without much explanation as to what to do. I got this game a long time ago and played it then, but it's been a while. I come back in and I'm like, all right, I'll just jump into story mode, and that was a mistake. I had no idea what to do. Conversely, there's free mode. You get a difficulty level choice: normal, hardcore, relaxed, sandbox. And then there's a simple character creator. And once you get into the main map, there's just a ton of stuff going on right off the bat. There's many different location choices to rent your first restaurant. I honestly didn't know what any of these different stats meant, so I chose a smaller venue in hopes it would be a better introduction to the game. Thankfully, there's a tutorial to introduce you to the many icons on the interface. There really is a lot going on here, making it intimidating at first glance. You're first tasked with getting the basic items needed to open the restaurant: a counter for prepping plates, an oven or other cooker of some sort to cook food, and tables and chairs for the guests. There's also a decor score system which affects the prices of your food and the type of clientele you'll attract to your restaurant. The next thing on the list is choosing food for your menu. Some customers are vegetarian, others don't like dairy, so it's important to have a variety. Each recipe has a varying prep time and price, different tools required to make it, and different tags for certain customer types. As your restaurant goes up in value, so too will your menu items and customers. The menu and recipe creation is something this game has a lot of focus on. If you enjoy being creative with this type of thing, you'll probably really enjoy this aspect of the game. For me, I'm not super into it. I could have just standard meals already kind of put together that I have to prep and make, but yeah, if it's something you're into, then that's great. Next thing to focus on is your staff. You can hire waiters to help you seat your customers, take orders, and ultimately deliver their food. The waiters vary in skill level, and as with most tycoon games, the higher skilled they are, the more they cost to keep. As I was pushing the different buttons on the bottom of the interface here, I accidentally stumbled upon a whole other menu. You can choose to dump extra money into your restaurant by adding extra amenities, such as cleaning policies. The cleaner you keep it, the more it costs hourly, but obviously it makes your restaurant more appealing. But the weird part about this is there are toilet cleaning policies, but no bathrooms. You can assign your kitchen to be cleaned, but no one is ever shown cleaning it. I just feel like it would make sense maybe to have a janitor come in, or even a waiter or a dishwasher or something. I don't know, add a little bit more realism to it, but maybe it's just me being picky. You can also adjust the wages you give to your staff, as well as how much money goes into advertising and which crowd type you want to appeal to or fend off. Each one of these things has, a negative effect. Say on the blue collar, they don't like to have people sit around chatting, but the white collar do like that. So each thing, you can kind of choose, which, to be honest, I didn't really see much of a difference with this, but maybe I just need to put more hours into the game. I'm not sure. So all that's left to do now is open the restaurant and start earning some money. You can control the speed with the dial located on the corner, which is a typical thing with tycoons. You can click each customer to see what they've ordered and what their status is, whether they're waiting to be served, have their order taken, or eating, what have you. You can also check your employees' energy levels by clicking on them or on the menu on the right-hand side of the screen. There are menus to help you see what your profits are, the latest reviews your customers have left, a detailed panel on the people and their likes or dislikes according to their class, and a menu to distribute skill points to yourself and your staff, which I don't know if they actually do anything or not. It kind of seems like a thrown-in thing that really doesn't mean much. You can also spend points upgrading the quality on ingredients, which raises the overall quality of the dishes you serve. This is especially helpful if you use a lot of the same ingredients in many of your dishes. You can choose a specialization for your restaurant as well, whether you want to focus on being vegan only or a tourist trap. Now, the problem with this system is that if you do decide to specialize, your restaurant will likely flop. It's kind of weird that it's an option if it's setting you up for failure. Seems like that should be optimized. The reviews on Steam are mostly positive, with the main downfall being that it's too easy to have things run smoothly within your staff. There isn't really a sense of progression in terms of difficulty once you have the main parts of your restaurant established. And the tycoon elements that are there aren't really solid. It's like a rough outline of a tycoon game without the in-depth portions, if that makes sense. It's priced at $19.99. And I'd recommend this game maybe if you catch it on a good sale, at least 50% off. If you enjoy management sims, it'll mostly scratch that itch, especially if you're into creating and personalizing the recipes. But honestly, there are better management sims out there. Okay, last game I'm going to talk about. This is Cook, Serve, Delicious. There's actually 3 of these in the series, but for this video, I'll only be discussing the first game. Cook, Serve, Delicious is a cooking sim through and through. It's fast-paced and can be very, very stressful at times. The thing that makes it most difficult for me, at least throughout my time playing it, were the controls. All the food items and actions associated to them are tied to a keybind on the keyboard. You do have the option to click instead, but you cannot possibly keep up by clicking alone, especially during rush hour. Rush hour is a period of time when several orders or chores come in at once. During the first half of my first shift, I was trying to solely click, and as you can see, it did not go well. I decided to try and get the hang of using the keys instead. It did help my speed quite a bit. The binds are done in a logical way, making it not too difficult to quickly remember what key to use. For example, B stands for bacon, C for cheese, R for ranch, etc. Except in the case of fries where salt is A. That threw me off and made me mess up a few orders before noticing. When there are a lot of orders or chores at once, I did find myself panicking and forgetting what to push, but I think that with some practice, I'm sure it gets easier. I noticed later that there is controller support, and it's actually really well done. They have all these controller options available, which is really nice considering most times games only recognize any controller as an Xbox controller. I tried playing a shift using my PS5 controller, and it was definitely hard to get used to, but again, with some practice, I think it would be a really viable option, especially if you're used to playing on a controller other games. There is a career mode, battle mode, and local co-op. Battle mode includes weekly challenges, endurance challenges, local multiplayer, and even more. In career mode, there's a basic story where you're starting out in a dingy 1-star restaurant, which you need to work up to being a 5-star restaurant. There's a short tutorial introducing you to the basic controls and how the interface works. It's a simple design that's really easy to understand and is effective. The orders run down the left of the screen and slowly move to the left. Once they move all the way off, the customer is mad and leaves in a huff. This brings down your buzz, which is essentially how excited people are to come to your restaurant. Chores also line up on the left side of the screen where the orders go. Depending on the food you decide to serve for the day, the chores will vary. Salads increase dishes and trash. Nachos increase rats and the need for traps, etc. After each workday, you're taken to the menu where you check your emails, purchase foods, buy equipment, and set the menu items for the following day. Each menu item has a different way of being prepared and different benefits or detriments as indicated by the tags. Here, you are able to test create the menu item before purchasing it. You can also check the checklist menu, which shows you what criteria needs to be met to gain stars. Oh, something worth mentioning also, there is a phenomenon called food rot, which prevents you from keeping the same menu items on the menu for too long at a time. When food rot happens, your buzz will be affected negatively. This challenges you to change things up. Where I personally feel it's lacking is the multitasking portion of cooking games. Like, I enjoy having to fill up a glass of soda while a burger patty cooks and then rushing to dunk some fries while not letting the patty burn. Something like that. In this game, you get locked into a cooking action and you have to complete it and serve it before moving on to the next order or next food item. This isn't necessarily bad, it's just not what I prefer personally. I do like the checklist of items to complete to move up in stars. It gives a sense of accomplishment whenever a new item is checked off. The reviews are overwhelmingly positive on Steam, with top comments being that it's really easy to learn but really hard to master. Priced at $9.99, this is a must-have in your cooking game collection, in my opinion. There's so much to do, a lot of replayability, and it makes for a super fun challenge. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. Please let me know if you'd like a part 2 with more cooking games, or maybe I could go into comparing sim games and breaking them down and giving you my experience. I could totally make this a series if you like it. So yeah, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. As always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye.